Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now I know this video is very late. I was supposed to post this on Monday, 2 days ago, when I usually post the weekly reviews, and then Tuesday where I post the review of whatever card happened on Saturday, if there was one, which there was one last week. So I should have posted that one yesterday as well. But yeah, many things happen, and I don't know. I don't want to not post the videos, so I'd rather do them late than not do them at all. And they are kind of outdated too. We are halfway through the next week. It is Wednesday, but again, I'd rather just get them out. I'm gonna post both today, the review for Jessica Andrade, Aaron Blanchfield today, and this video, and expect more frequent uploads from now on. I do apologize for the inactivity, but I do want to thank you all for the support on the more recent videos. That's been really cool. That's been great. Thank you all, and we're gonna get straight into it now. On Sunday, the only fight to get announced was number 11th ranked Bryce Mitchell versus Jonathan Pierce, unranked, at UFC 288 on May 6th. Two wrestlers. This is a great fight. It's probably gonna be main card, and it is happening for UFC 288 in May. Jonathan Pierce was formerly ranked number 15 during the month of December, but then lost that ranking after Alex Caceres won against Julian Erosa and retook his top 15 spot. So now Jonathan Pierce will be fighting his first ranked opponent, and if he wins, we'll see him in the top 15. So that'll be pretty cool. We're going to move on to Monday, where the poster for Jessica Andrade versus Aaron Blanchfield, UFC Vegas 69, was announced just a few days before the fight was meant to take place, because obviously Jessica Andrade stepped in on short notice. So the poster had to be changed and edited and all that. So the poster coming out late, it makes sense. It is justified. We're gonna move on to Tuesday, where the rankings did change, and since this video is late, I already missed how the rankings were at that time, but I have them written down here. In the pound for pound top 15, John Jones moved up one place to number 10 and re-entering the top 10 in pound for pound once again. Yuri Prohaska moved down one to number 11, and Holloway re-entered the rankings at number 15. For featherweight, Yair Rodriguez moved up one to number 1 in the featherweight rankings, since he is the interim champion, and Max Holloway, who had beaten Yair Rodriguez prior, or like a few fights before, moved down one to number 2. So kind of weird there, but Yair is the interim champion, so he kind of has to be number 1. So we're gonna move on to welterweight. Neil Magny moved up one to number 12. Michael Chiesa moved down one to number 13. Jack Della Maddalena entered the rankings at number 14 for the first time, which is pretty smart that they put him at 14th and not 15th. So just in case any weird shuffles, arrangements, or any additions to the top 15 welterweight rankings, just in case any of that happens, that Della Maddalena doesn't move down or out of the rankings if he is number 15, because we've seen that happen before many times. So it was smart for them to put him 14th instead of 15th, and Michelle Pereira moved down one to number 15. So pretty interesting updates to the rankings there. In welterweight and light heavyweight, Ryan Spann moved up one to tie Volkan Ozdemir at number 8. And in heavyweight, Sergey Spivak moved up one to number 7, passing Alexander Volkov, who moved down one to number 8. Marcin Tybura moved up one to number 10, and Derek Lewis moved down one to number 11. I did say in my review of Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak that fight night, UFC Vegas 68, I did say that it was kind of sad that Tybura lost his 10th place spot because of Derek Lewis. And yeah, it looks like I got what I wanted, even though I'm kind of regretting that now. I still want Derek Lewis at the top 10, but Marcin Tybura is in the top 10 once again. So, there's that. So that's it for the rankings for that week 7. We're going to move on to what happened. Let me scroll back up to what I got here written down. Yeah, Tuesday. A lot of things in the roster happened on Tuesday. Kusain Ashkabov, Clayton Carpenter, Jamal Pogway, Juan Camilo Ronderos, and Nazim Sadikov were all added to the roster on Tuesday. This was for their debuts. Most of them were debuting. I think, all of them were debuting in their fights. Well, not debuting. Juan Camilo was being re-added to the roster. But they were all coming back for the UFC Vegas 69 card that happened just a few days after. So they got added to the roster for those fights. And also a few fights got announced on Tuesday. This was the most stacked day for the week. But we're gonna try to scroll down, and see if we can see the per ESPN, the UFC Vegas 70 bout order got added. If you want to pause, you can look at it here. But we're gonna keep looking. We're gonna try to find. Yeah. So on February 14th, on Tuesday, Matt Brown versus Court McGee at a UFC event May 13th. That's a pretty cool fight. It's gonna be cool to see Matt Brown come back. Also, after fighter pullout, Ode Osborne will now fight Charles Johnson, which is another pretty big fight. This is definitely a better fight than before. It's happening this weekend, UFC Vegas 70, February 25th, Saturday. That's going to be a fun one. Interesting to see where that goes. But with Reyes and Flowers out, Eric Gonzalez and Trevor Peek will now fight each other. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before, where both these guys had their opponents pull out and they decided to just fight each other. I've never seen that happen before, but UFC Vegas 70, it's going to be happening this Saturday, February 25th. Also, with Dan Hooker pulling out due to a broken hand injury, number 8 ranked Mateusz Gamrot will step in to fight number 12 ranked Jalen Turner. UFC 285, March 4th. This is a bigger fight than last time, too. UFC just continues to, make these fights better. If anything happens with, pullouts or just changes in the card, UFC always makes sure to make the new fights better, which I find to be pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of things here for UFC 287 as well. In Miami, Chris Barnett will fight Chase Sherman, UFC 287, April 8th. This is another pretty big one. It's likely going to be a prelim bout. Chris Barnett, this is a winnable fight for him in my opinion. I think he's got a good chance in this one, and it's going to be fun to see where that goes. I think that's it for Tuesday. On Wednesday, the poster for UFC 285 got announced. It's a nice looking poster. I can't say I like this poster. Something about UFC heavyweight posters. There's just something different about them. Like, I got a poster right here on my wall for the last heavyweight pay-per-view we've had, Ngannou versus Cyril Gane, and it brings a different energy to any of the other posters I got. So you've got a few other modifications to the poster: horizontal version, a Shevchenko versus Grasso version. We've got a squared version with both title fights on. So that's pretty cool there. We had a few fights announced on this day, horizontal and vertical versions of the poster for this one as well that had already been announced. UFC 286, Ed Herman versus Zach Cummings is happening. UFC Kansas City on April 15th. Also, this is Wednesday. Caio Borralho versus Michal Oleksiejczuk was announced for a UFC event on April 29th. April 29th looks stacked right now. I don't want to jinx anything, but April 29th looks good. I'm excited for that one. But that's it for Wednesday. On Thursday, it came out that The Ultimate Fighter Season 31 started filming, with this video coming out of McGregor doing the shadow boxing in front of the team jerseys, the signed jerseys. So that's pretty interesting there. It's going to be premiering May 30th, or I think it was May 31st, one of those days. But it's happening one of the 30s of May. Just know that it's on a Tuesday, so if you want to look at the calendar, you can do that. And on Thursday, it was announced the bout orders as well. You can pause to look at the UFC 285 bout order. Also, the UFC Vegas 69, which already happened bout order, but if you want to look at that, you can. Trying to see if we can see the last fight. Yeah, with Benoit St. Denis pulling out, Joe Solecki will now fight Carl Deaton III at UFC Vegas 70, February 25th. This Saturday, Carl Deaton, he's making his UFC debut. And yeah, I think those are all the fights that got announced. I think a few things happened in the roster. Yeah. I think this was Wednesday. I forgot to talk about it. But Saidioku Kakramanov got removed from the roster after just one loss. I don't know what happened there, but if you saw on Twitter mainly, he was tweeting a lot about, getting cut from the roster. And it's kind of sad to see, but let's hope that wherever he goes next in his career, that it's good. But on Thursday, Seungkook Choi got added to the roster. Yi Zha got added to the roster, which I did see coming. I definitely saw that coming. And Ronaldo Bedoya got added to the roster. Also on February 19th. Is this still in? No, this is Sunday, so I can't talk about that just yet. But Ronaldo Bedoya. I already said this. My bad. Here's a fact for you for a Thursday. In the last 3 years of the UFC, fighters take an average of 181 days between fights after a win and 219 days after a loss. So that's pretty interesting there. That's it for the video. That's it for week 7. Nothing of note happened on Friday or Saturday. Obviously, besides the main event, Erin Blanchfield got a second round submission win over Jessica Andrade. She got added to the top 3 after that. And we're going to talk about all those rankings for episode 8, guys. That's it for episode 7. Leave some feedback in the comments. Anything I did right, anything I did wrong, I'd love to hear it. And yeah, go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you in a few minutes when I upload the Andrade versus Blanchfield review.